Okay, so what is exactly the ego? You know, so the thing is that, see, all I can say is that, I mean, this is a very interesting thing that a lot of people say that, get the ego out of the way, which is pretty true. Because, see, I mean, the ego had a function back in the day when we were like still like, trying to survive the more immediate dangers that existed in our environment. When we were doing that, at that point, yes, the ego had a much bigger role to play, a much bigger purpose. But at this age right now, in an age of like when we have so much of information, so much of knowledge, and where we are, first and more aware about our mortality, and we are at this stage right now as human beings where instead of, of course, obviously we are trying to like prolong our lives as much as possible and whatever, but also on a certain level, at an intellectual plane, we are also trying to what we are trying to do is we are trying to safeguard, or should I say, we are trying to sort of, in order to kind of come to terms with life itself, we're also trying to come in terms with our mortality as well. How to accept mortality. That's also something we have been practicing. So for beings like us, or should I say that at least at the level which we are in right now, you know, this ego is not essentially serving a very strong purpose, or should I say that the ego is making its presence felt in things that it doesn't need to make its presence felt, right? Like, I mean, like, for example, if there is an immediate danger or whatever, and at that point, if the ego kicks in, and in order to save us from this imminent physical danger, it can be understood. But we don't live very physical lives today. We do physical things, physical activities as recreation, right? Or maybe there are some people who might do it as a. I mean, I'm not really discrediting or discounting the fact that there are a lot of people who still struggling with a lot of things in life, and they do have to do a whole lot of things physically. But even then, like we're all part of this society where, you know, it has become more brain than brawn, right? And so I think it is better that we, just let that ego move out of the way. What is the ego? Well, it acts, it makes its presence felt as this barrier between you and the world. So if you can mitigate that, maybe you'll have a better life.